Hello everyone, I'm Halen Yules, the founder of ScaleMate. If you don't know us, we help the best founders from around the world land more customers. And today I'm going to take you through my marketing and sales tech stack that generates over 50 ICP qualified meetings per month with just 3 people across marketing and sales. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start with the marketing tech stack. Now, I've been in sales my whole life, so marketing is relatively new to me over the past sort of year and a half, 2 years, I would say. So take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. It doesn't come from, 10 years of experience. When we get into the sales tech stack and the sales process and everything, that's when you should trust me a little bit more. First, I'll cover kind of the state of B2B tech, B2B SaaS startup marketing in general and some of the challenges and the new challenges associated with that. Then I'll go into a few examples of what I've seen in the marketing space, specifically for early stage SaaS companies and what's worked across clients, people I've worked with over the course of my career. And then I'll jump into the tech stack that we use and kind of how many people are involved, process, all that good stuff. So marketing in general, everyone knows getting attention is tough. You have to be bold, put yourself out there, eye-capturing, entertaining in the world of Instagram, TikTok, all these things where it's, maybe not as relevant for B2B tech marketing 5 years ago, is starting to become relevant and is relevant today. Short attention spans, how do you, get people to listen to you, essentially? That's the overall challenge. Outbound has become a lot harder. So cold outbound on email, on LinkedIn, cold calling, conferences, physical events, webinars, all this sort of stuff. It's becoming a lot harder, particularly on email. I'm not going to bore you with the details there. Everyone kind of knows that. Email's tough, have to scale it up, etc. LinkedIn is, I would say 2025 was the golden age of LinkedIn. I don't know what 2026 is going to entail with that, but 2025 was fantastic for LinkedIn. Let's see if it continues. Cold calling's kind of gone swinging back and forth of the effectiveness of it, but I say all of this because building an inbound engine, a marketing engine, has never really been more important. And one of the biggest things that I see with startup founders that we work with is they really underestimate the amount of noise you need to make, particularly in the US. It's a highly competitive market, only getting worse with the rise of AI, how quickly you can ship product, etc. So how do you get attention when you do not have a brand? You are an early stage company and you're now competing with people who've raised, tens of millions, if not more, dollars. So inbound has become important because outbound is getting harder and harder. Then there's challenges with actually building an inbound funnel itself, making enough noise to get attention, tracking everything appropriately. Now, I'm sitting here as the founder of a business. My employees do not make content. They just repost what I do. But the founder-led content model has been used, is still being used, and is getting noisier for sure. So when this trend first started, I don't know when that happened, but there's clear examples, Adam Robinson from RB2B being one of them, where it was pretty new, putting a face to the name and constantly putting content out there, building trust, showing expertise, sharing thoughts, feedback, growing your business in public, all that stuff. That was pretty new a few years ago. Now a lot of people do it, including me. I'm fully aware that I'm doing it as well. But it is, like anything, becoming competitive and more saturated. So again, the people who are putting out founder-led content, how do you stand out as a creator or an individual? How do you build trust with your audience? How do you get attention, obviously? And then how do you scale that past just your personal founder account? So I've started to see quite a lot of businesses get their employees to create content and post their own original content, not just reposting what the founder does, which is interesting, gives you that scale advantage. Probably tough to hire a person like that, especially if they're junior. You probably have to bring in, pretty senior people to be able to execute on that and have the time to be able to do that. So that's one thing I'm seeing is employee-led content that really amplifies the business in a different way. The argument against that is well, if an employee has a personal brand, why do they need you? Because they'll go and start their own thing. Fair enough. That could be true, but the pros probably outweigh the cons there. That's something I'm thinking about as we scale. Obviously, I still need to keep a lean team. That's one thing. The other thing is honesty and authenticity, I think, wins. There is a lot of people, especially on LinkedIn, on YouTube, in this sort of B2B SaaS startup GTM agency space who post a lot of fake shit, to be quite honest. They post like the screenshots of a calendar to say, fill up your calendar like this within 2 days or whatever. They'll post like Stripe reports that are not real. They've been doctored. So I think people can see that. Those people usually don't post videos. They post photos, workflow stuff. They don't sit in front of a camera and talk so you can see them most of the time. So I think authenticity, honesty will win over the long term. I often get annoyed with founders and business owners or salespeople of those businesses that overpromise to startups. Like, I'm going to get you $1 million in revenue in the next 12 months. It's like, if you could do that to everyone, you would be a crazy business, because every startup wants to get to $1 million. And then with crazy guarantees and all these things that don't make any sense. So I think that's a bad strategy. We are usually very upfront with our numbers, projections, all that stuff. And same, hopefully, with the content. I do an entire series called Scaling ScaleMate. It's my building in public, growing a business in public series that I do one video a month, roughly. That covers wins, losses, challenges, all that stuff, with the goal of being authentic, building trust with the audience. So I think that's going to be super important coming into 2026 from a marketing standpoint. Now I want to go into our tech stack. I'm not going to share screen. I'm not going to show you anything just yet. That'll be towards the end of the video. But I just want to talk you through it, explain what we use these tech platforms for and how they all mesh together. So first thing is Notion. I use Notion for planning. Most of our marketing is content like this. So videos that are filmed by me, edited, and then put into another system to push that to an audience, right? So Notion, great for planning. I can kick off workflows. I can upload all of the raw footage for editors in there and coordinate everyone who needs to then write posts and put that into the other system, which is Buffer. Buffer is the platform that basically you connect all of your corporate and personal accounts. So your company LinkedIn's, your personal LinkedIn, your company YouTube, your personal YouTube, your X, your Instagram, like anything there. It's one account. You push content to all, and you can make edits depending on the platform. Obviously, some platforms favor short form content, some favor long form, but you go into one system and it pushes it to everything. Great. Claude, I use Claude really over OpenAI for content, and I think it writes better. I think that's a pretty commonly known thing. Obviously, that changes over time, but I do use it to sort of ideate, get titles for videos. Scripting is the main thing, but idea generation and scripting are probably the main things, and then titles I use a combination of OpenAI and Claude. We have just signed with a new editor, so we had that in-house for a little bit. Now we're pushing it to an external party, so shout out to Boomin Brands. They're our new 2026 editor for all the videos. They have their own system where it's content management system, upload, do reviews, all this sort of stuff. So that's a new one. Haven't actually used it yet. This will be the first video for that. From a marketing standpoint, website visitors obviously need to be tracked and identified when people land on your website. In the US, you can roughly get 30% of website visitors. You can identify their email. We use RB2B for that. We don't get crazy volumes of website traffic, like nothing insane, but it is a nice little funnel. That person, we identify their email, it goes into a flow, and they get a message from us, which I can talk to in the sales tech stack side of things. Then we use Triggerfy. So I post this content. It goes onto LinkedIn, mainly. That's my main audience. Goes onto LinkedIn. Some of those posts are for lead magnets. So a lead magnet being, hey, send me this, comment this, interact with this, like, whatever the action is. Usually we do comments. when people comment that word, they get automatically sucked into, from using Triggerfy, automatically sucked into a Clay table, ICP qualified automatically, we'll get into that stuff later, and then sent the lead magnet. So I post content, I will give you this free resource. If you comment this, all of the back end work post that comment is then automatic through Triggerfy, Clay, and then whatever outreach tool we use as well. We use Tally. This is a super quick one just for custom links. So for example, in our LinkedIn campaigns, we send people to our website to book a meeting. That is a custom link, so we can track that they came from a LinkedIn campaign, right? So if they land on the website, then they book a meeting, we know where they came from. Things like that. We use it for a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And then our focus for 2026, I know this sounds a little crazy, but again, I wasn't a marketer, so this is all relatively new to me. We weren't really pushing people to the website as much as we should have been. Like, yeah, the website exists. Yeah, you can find it. Yeah, you can go on my LinkedIn and, dig around. But we weren't pushing people to the website. Then there's issues with which website. We have two. We have scalemate.io, which is our premium sort of exclusive service for select founders. Then we have scalingmate.ai, which is the product website. Now, the product website performs way better as a website than the premium, select service offering. So pushing everyone to ScalingMate is something we're focused on, capturing everything in Google Analytics, creating audiences, all that good stuff. LinkedIn Campaign Manager, also a focus for us, doing retargeting ads. We traditionally haven't really used it too much. We've been more on the Triggerfy side, but the Campaign Manager has a whole bunch of audiences, like visiting your company page, you can retarget them with an ad. So that's a level of investment we're making this year into ads. And then we're trying randomly other platforms. I've never done Meta. I've never done TikTok. I've never really done X. So we're just going to repost things, see what happens. If something, pops off and works, then double down. But those are experiments for this year. Now I want to take you through the sales tech stack for 2026. There is some overlap, obviously, with the marketing stack, but I'll take you through how that exact flow works and the execution of the campaigns. First, I want to give you my thoughts on the B2B SaaS sales industry, the rise of AI, how it's obviously changing everything for salespeople. And then I'll take you through our exact tech stack for 2026. So I've always said this, the startup sales world is very, very different than if you're an established tech business with a brand, with a team and a whole bunch of products and all this sort of stuff. You are not relying on a brand at all when you are a startup. You have to educate the prospect on who you are, why you're different from all the other startups. You have to build trust. You have to be an expert. That's like super important. Now, all this bullshit about you don't need to know product and don't need to know tech, I've never believed it for the last 5 years. Maybe 8 years ago when I started this was possible. But in startup land, you have to be an expert because it's all about trust. It's not just a little bit about trust. You have no brand. They're talking to you. So it's very, very different. You have to be an expert, I think. Maybe with a brand and whatever, you can rely on relationships and being a funny guy, whatever it is. But in startup world, you won't be able to do that from a sales standpoint. The pace of development and the pace of change has only solidified the old adage of time kills all deals, except for now it's not 6 months, it's 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, your competition has the feature that you won a deal over or got the attention over from a prospect. So that time frame is like way shorter than what it used to be, particularly in sort of AI native businesses. That is 100% true. Okay, now I'll take you through our tech stack and how we plan to stay ahead of the curve like we always do, coming into 2026 and beyond. So this is more on the execution of campaigns versus marketing is like the attention side of things. So think top of funnel and then actual execution. HeyReach is one of our biggest and best partners. We have a great relationship with them. There will be a podcast coming out very soon. With HeyReach, they control our LinkedIn automation. So we have a whole bunch of accounts within HeyReach, which I can talk about in a second with another vendor. But they manage our accounts, the messaging, we do replies handling through there. Now, we're also on their white label solution, given we have a whole bunch of clients as well. So we get like a lot of workspaces, and each client has their own workspace, and that's like the back end of our product. Instantly, email campaigns. So think HeyReach, but just for email. Instantly is one of the leaders for sure. It's kind of Instantly, Smart Lead, and then there's all these old legacy providers like MailChimp and all this sort of stuff. Instantly's great. Email's taken a hit. So Instantly's really good at building a feature in response to market shifts and market changes, and they push it quick. Now, it's not always perfect, but a lot of the time it's pretty good. So Instantly allows you to scale up email ridiculously and very, very easily. Their editor within managing their infrastructure is great. You can bulk edit things, and you can literally edit like the email signature of 1,000 email accounts within 2 seconds. Like it's really, really good. So Instantly is what we use. That's a multi-channel approach. HeyReach and Instantly just integrated, which is fantastic. You can now do multi-channel from the HeyReach dashboard within, and it pushes to Instantly. So you can do email and LinkedIn campaigns. There's a whole bunch of strategy there, which I want to do a video on. Clay is the backbone of all of it. So any lead that comes into ScaleMate gets pushed into Clay to be automatically ICP qualified. Now, there'll be a whole bunch of people on here, or on the video, watching the video, who know the reality of how hard that is to do automatically. Do not let anyone tell you that ICP qualification or lead scoring is easy. It is not. It is fucking hard. And as soon as your ICP changes, the whole thing changes. Automation's great if nothing changes, is the point. As soon as something changes, you need a human to change it. So I'm over people saying it's replacing, all these jobs and whatever. I don't believe that. Sorry for the rant. Clay's the backbone of everything, and it's also the central point where leads come into the business and then go somewhere. So super powerful tool. I'm sure we're not even using all of the amazing features of Clay, but insane tool, great tool. N8N is the conduit, the middleman between a lot of these systems, between Slack, between our CRM, between basically everything at some point. N8N manages a whole lot of workflows, a whole lot of automations in the background. LinkedIn Sales Nav, don't need to tell you why we use that. Scaled Mail is our infrastructure provider for email. So they purchase Google, Microsoft, SMTP accounts. They manage all the DMARC, DKIM, SPF, everything. Great, very cheap option, but good. I'm not saying cheap in a bad way. I mean, affordable, very, very affordable. And you can scale up very quickly. Great support. Not a bad thing to say about them. Fantastic. Mirror Profiles. Now, this is where it can get a little expensive, but it's worth it if LinkedIn is a channel for you. These are rented accounts. So you can rent an account from Mirror Profiles. It's a real account, ID verified, all this stuff. 500 connections. It's a real account that was used at some point. You rent it for a monthly fee, and then you can now use that for outreach, for reposting content, for whatever it is. We use a lot of Mirror Profiles accounts, and it's a fantastic one. I would say the market leader as well. Most of these are all market leaders that we use, so we don't skimp on tech. Adio is our CRM, relatively new. We used to actually just use Airtable, but Adio is a great tool, super easy to set up, especially for early stage businesses. I think it gives you everything you'd need, HubSpot-esque per se, a lot cheaper and easier to set up. And there's no, you get to this many leads and you have to pay $1 million for whatever. So I think a lot better than HubSpot, a lot simpler to set up, very easy. And then Cal.com, I think it's better than Calendly. I like Cal.com. Manages all of our meetings, meeting booking links. You can do a whole bunch of automations from there. Now I want to show you guys the workflow between the marketing tech stack and the sales tech stack. I'm not going to show you every single workflow, but just a few highlights. Let's start with the marketing side of things, right? So you can see I'm filming this on January 4th, 2026. I use this for planning. This is Notion. I use it completely for planning. And each month, I basically map out the content that I'm going to be filming, all the editing, the posting schedule, all that good stuff. So I did scripting yesterday. In blue, we have the recording. I typically film on the weekends and I script on Saturdays. Doesn't take, all day, but it takes a little bit of time. The hardest part is aligning the editing, the posting schedule, any lead magnets. Each month, we're going to go back through and promote posts, do thought leader ads, run ads on the most successful organic content. So it's really the sequencing is the hard part. It takes probably an hour to 2 hours to do this each month. This is tagged with the action. So this is a recording. This is me that has to do this. This is a long form video is what we're filming now. Now it's going to go to YouTube and LinkedIn for long form. The clips will be cut up. The accounts, I've got a whole bunch of accounts across personal and different channels. The editor, so we use an outside editor. I'll fill that in after, but it's on the next part. And then the funnel stage, we go from awareness, engagement, down to conversion. And if there's any CTA, I would put that there. But you can see now it's distributed into the different editors that we have. It's still, long form. There will be a lead magnet component to this, which will be an image. It's going to be turned into a blog for the website. That is the editing part. Then becomes the posting schedule. So which accounts it goes on, which channels, is it a long form video, is it a lead magnet, is it whatever, short form, and if there's a CTA, right? That's essentially done. So one video, let's do this, record the Tech Stack 2026 video, which is what we're doing now. That will get me one long form post. It'll get me a couple of short forms there, a blog. It's going to get me a lead magnet here, and then actually another lead magnet. We're going to do 2 off of this. And it'll make it into, the newsletter, and I'll probably talk about, something related to it in my Scaling ScaleMate series. So one 30-minute video can get me, I don't know how many shorts it's going to get, probably more than that. It might get me like 5 to 8 shorts. It'll get me the long form. It'll post it across 4 or 5 different channels, 10 different accounts, and then lead magnets as well. So that's why I do long form, much easier to manage that way, because you just get so much content out of it. Now, how that content actually gets posted. So we've done the planning phase. I film it, I submit that to the editor, that gets edited, and then eventually gets posted. We post it through Buffer. So I posted a Christmas thing the other day. We can queue up posts. So what happens is my team writes the post, the video's there, they've got it from the editor. They write the post, I approve it, and then it finally gets posted. So there's a queue, it kicks off a workflow. I get an email that something's ready to review. I review it usually every Sunday, and then boom, it goes out. That post, I'll give you an example of how this all kind of flows. This is a lead magnet post that we did. It's about, booking a whole bunch of meetings with Morgan Freeman. We got quite a lot of comments of Morgan, all this stuff to get people engaged. They want the lead magnet. There's a free LinkedIn lead guide. Those people that commented Morgan, they automatically get put into this Clay table, and you can see that they've commented there. We create them a custom link so we can track that. Again, that's automatic through the Clay table. And then they get a message from us through a campaign in HeyReach. That's how they get automatically the message that goes out. Hey, here's the lead magnet. Great. They then engage again. They're on DMs. Now it's, would you like to book a meeting to go through it? Or if you have any questions about the resource, and then we book a meeting, and now it's a sales process. So that's just one example of how something goes from planning phase in Notion through to filming, editing, which I'm not involved with. I'm definitely not an editor. And then to Buffer, that gets posted on LinkedIn, goes through Triggerfy, goes into Clay, ends up in a DM, and now we have a sales conversation. Now we're going to go more onto our sales funnel. As you know, we use HeyReach for our LinkedIn outbound. We have a whole bunch of campaigns running. We have a whole bunch of experiments that we constantly try. These 5 are just consistently going out. A lot of them are automated. We don't really need to touch them. And they get consistent results. They book anywhere from 50 to 60-ish meetings per month. We send out the campaigns. That's a whole bunch has been done with Clay in the background with all this stuff, a whole bunch of scraping tools, etc. They finally get into the campaigns, and now we are managing replies. Now, the initial reply will filter from HeyReach through N8N into Slack. We have a replies handling Slack channel. That pops off a notification. Boom, we need to action the lead. You can come into here and actually action the lead and have a conversation, and this is the inbox. You can manage a whole bunch of inboxes from here. So we've got, quite a few that we use. That is a huge point for scaling. So one person can manage this account and manage the LinkedIn profiles of 20 people or 10 people or 5 or 50, right? So the scale there is ridiculous and very, very useful. That's on the replies handling side. Then there's the follow-up and all this sort of stuff. Then a lot of people who respond either aren't interested right now, or they don't book, or they're interested but never get back to us, or whatever it is, right? You don't want to lose that data. Now, since making the switch to ADIO, we've built a lead pipeline where we now have all the replies that come in from any channel. So this isn't just LinkedIn now, this is email, all this stuff. Any response, any interaction that they have replied to a campaign, they get put into here. We then manage the reply, as I said, through HeyReach. And the good thing about HeyReach is you can tag leads. So I can tag this lead, and these are all my interested ones, right? Those people automatically get put into the interested category here. My rule of thumb is we follow up 3 separate times before we then push them, again, automatically by tagging in HeyReach, to interested, then ghosted. Now those people are super, super, super important. Interested, then ghosted is they were interested at one point. They wanted to meet, they just never booked a meeting. Those people are your marketing data, right? If you want to target a specific audience at some point, those are great people to go after. We have interested, we obviously have meeting booked, we have a deal open that automatically is pushed into that section if a deal is created. Wrong ICP is a tag, not interested is a tag, no show is a tag as well. So they booked a meeting and then never showed up. They automatically get put into a rescheduled sequence. This is all backed by N8N in the background. This is ADIO, N8N, and HeyReach instantly, and other channels as well. Everything's connected through N8N. Fantastic platform, highly recommend it. Not that hard to build this stuff as well, which is huge, and it's very, very quick time to value. So there you have it. That is our tech stack for 2026. If you do want to keep in touch with us, we have a newsletter that we send out monthly. The link will be in the description here. Head on over to our website and you can book a call with us to discuss any of those technologies or your GTM process, tech stack in general. And if you do want to sign up to our trial, head to scalingmate.ai and you can create an account. Thank you very much.